Hey everybody, this is Jessica Lynn of Jessica Lynn Original Studios at JessicaLynnOriginal.com. And today we are going to go ahead and craft up a DIY a cosplay staff. My kids love the Descendants, and we did a version of this a while ago, so this is a brand new version. It's very similar, but with some tweaks. You can see that staff in her hand. That is what we are going to be creating. Now down below, I did put all the items that you'll need to be able to follow along and make this with us. My suggestion would be to pause the video as you go through the steps. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to build this on ours is actually going to be a broom, but you could build it on a piece of wood. You can get those at Michael's and Joann's. And we're going to start by building up the actual body of the staff. So we're going to take that aluminum foil and we're going to start kind of just wrapping it around. Now you can see he did double layer that up. My suggestion, now I do have a link for Amazon down below, but I would also think about or challenge you, maybe Sam's Club. You can get a lot of tin foil for maybe 20 bucks. So you're going to be using a lot of foil on this, just so that you know. And you can see we're just going to build it up in layers. And the foil itself does kind of cling to itself, so you don't need to glue anything. But what he did was start by putting the foil on, and then he would twist it. And you can see it started to actually build all of the texture that we're going to want for her staff. So again, we are making this. This could be used for the Queen of Mean, which is Audrey from Descendants. This would be great for Maleficent. If you watch that movie, obviously you just make some tweaks to the staff. This would be wonderful if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, right? Like, and you want to make Gandalf's, whatever, you can go through and make that staff as well. It just might require some tweaks to how you do the finishing, like painting it different colors, etc. Now, what we really liked about this version, I've seen a couple other people doing it different ways. We've had the one staff that we created for her for probably 2 or 3 years, the original version. It still holds up. So, if you're building this to go to the Ren fairs for multiple Halloweens, this is the way to do it because it's going to hold up better in all types of weather conditions as well. Obviously, pouring rain is not good for anything you DIY, but the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start adding the texture. So we've got initial texture, but if you look at her staff, she actually has, it almost looks like vines. So we're going to start to craft those on, and we're using masking tape. It holds really well to the foil, and when you paint it, it has the same properties, so it really worked well. So I'm going to go ahead and let you watch him do this, and we are going to build up this staff a little bit more. And again, you can see he's just taking it in small pieces and building up and building on. Now, if you're building a different staff that has a lot more detail in it, we'll build that up. So, or, you can make smaller versions of this to make some Harry Potter wands. The fun part about this process is it's the same, Right now what we're thinking about is how are we building texture and shape once we go through and actually apply the next layer before we paint. So if you go and you find a Harry Potter wand that has lots of intricate details, build that out in the foil, and then when we get to the point where we add the next layer before painting, all of those layers will surface, which I'll tell you, it's when we first started, I was like, is that really going to work that way? And as soon as we started to put the paint on, you'll see it immediately. So right now he is building up the cup on the top part, because remember she has that green stone. So right now he's actually building where they're going to put the stone in. Now this is the part where it gets a little tricky because you need to make sure you have a lot of stability and strength. So what he's doing is he's actually building those little finger or hand looking things that are going to hold the green stone. Now you're going to build this up all the way around however you want it to look. And then my suggestion would be is at the end, take another piece of foil and wrap it around all of those, including the masking tape, because it'll just give it that little bit of extra support. So once you have everything the way you think you want it, you're going to take masking tape and you are going to masking tape the entire thing. Now you might say, wait, why are we doing that? The texture will still come through. Now you don't want a super thick masking tape. This stuff, I think we just got it at Amazon and it came with like 16 rolls, so it was very inexpensive. But you see, by doing this, you're actually securing all of the foil, all of the work that you did, and this will make a really great edge for the next step in our process. So go ahead and do the entire staff, bottom to top, with masking tape. The next step we're going to do is we're going to take glue. Now we bought this glue, I think it was at Dollar Tree. So we were super excited because we're like, $1. Now this is pre the $1.25 days, right? But we're gonna almost do a liquid glue and water. So almost like you're gonna do paper mache. What this is gonna do is just bring out more of that texture. And you can see we're putting in some water and some glue. Now you don't want it too runny. So I would say we probably put like 2 cups of glue to maybe a little over a teaspoon or a tablespoon of water. And you're gonna see all we're doing is thinning it down. We don't want it to lose the glue properties. So be very careful. It kind of looks like runny eggs. Maybe that's a good way to describe it, or like milk almost. Once it looks like that, we're going to just mix it around. And those bubbles are fine, you know, but you got to continue to work because it will continue to dry and go back. And then we're going to use paper towel. So this is just like paper mache. But for us, we're going to use paper towel because it works really well. Now, we really like the ones that does the small rectangles. And then we'll fold them in half and kind of rip them into, you know, smaller rectangles. And then what we're going to do is just like, what's the right thing to think of? French toast. We're going to dip it in there just like French toast, front and back, get it nice and full of the substance of water and glue mix. And then we're going to squeegee it out a little. Okay, now watch what we're going to do here. We're going to nicely just wrap up the staff itself. So let's go ahead and open that up. There we go. And then once we have it nice and open, we're going to go ahead and just start building up layers. So again, what this is going to do is it's going to bring out all the texture from the foil, all the texture from the tape, and add additional. Now watch how cool this looks. It's almost like we're putting a Band-Aid on it, right? Now you're going to want to continue to make sure it's tight, because when that dries, it's going to take 24 hours for this to dry. So you want to make sure you smooth it out, make sure it's not goopy or wet, super wet. But go ahead and you're going to apply that to the entire staff, all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom. Once that's done, you're going to go and put it somewhere far away, like your basement, attic, somewhere the kids can't touch it, for a good 24 hours. You want to give the properties of the glue, the tape, and the foil time to kind of settle. Now, again, it sounds more difficult than it is. It's not. It's super easy. But the best thing I can tell you is just to be patient with it. Don't try and go on to the next step until you know that the staff is completely dry. The next step is to build that actual green crystal she has. There's a ton of different ways you can do that. I mean, you could make some little crystals, you could paint something. We wanted to actually be able to put in like those, do you know those drink cubes that light up? We found one at Disney World that lights up green. And so we wanted to build something that would illuminate and actually share that color out. So, I mean, there's a ton of different ways to do it. We could have just used this container, put some, you know, green lights in there and had it illuminate that way. We decided to go ahead and try and actually build it. And we're going to use this time packaging tape. So that clear packaging tape. And we're going to build layers of the tape over it and over it and over it and over it again. And then what we're going to do is cut it off of there, seal it, and then we'll put the cube light inside. Again, we're going to do some painting on it too. But doing it this way, again, we are building it so that it will illuminate, which will be really cool. So you can see now he's just cutting it off of that little globe. And it's just layers of tape. And you can see how that looks. It's very cool. The little light up inside, it just changes everything. It's really cool. So now what we're going to do is just clean it up a little bit more. We're going to close up what was opened. And again, if you're doing this, make sure you do it with your kid because you might use X-Acto knives or scissors. And I would hate for anybody to get hurt. This is a really fun project. And I know you might be saying, Jess, it's March. Why are we building this now? We have tons of time. I'm gonna tell you, honestly, we start our Halloween costumes typically sometime in March. And the reason that we do it is that we want to have enough time to build pieces and add on things and, you know, be prepared for the season, if that makes any sense. So it's always good to do it early. Granted, if you're watching this and it's already October, first off, welcome. Second, that's totally fine, right? Everybody does stuff at different paces. We have been very busy, so we just always try and do stuff whenever we have the biggest amount of time. Now, I will down below put a link to these lights. They are awesome. Watch what happens. What? And you can choose the color. So obviously for Audrey, we want green. So we're just going to keep going until we get to green. Ooh, that's kind of fun. Maybe we just put in the flashing colors. But you can see, look at how cool that is inside of there. Now, apparently he grabbed the one that didn't have the green, but there is a green one that we used. But super cool, and what a great way. So once we've let this dry for 24 hours, right now we're coming back, double check it, don't use a hairdryer, don't use anything. This right here, we went in and painted it in black and brown. You can see we got the green in there, but look at how cool all the details. It looks all, because if you look at her when she's holding it, it has a tree-like quality to it. And because of all the work we did between the foil and the tape, and then finally like the paper mache over the top, it looks so cool, and it literally does look like a piece of a tree. Like, it's so cool. And all you do to paint it literally is get out your, acrylics, paint it up. You could spray paint it, but I'd be cautious. You can see we wrapped those little fingers around it to hold it, just like hers. It's so cool. And you can see we were working on another one too. So we went from that one. Okay, let's just show you. So again, there's everything we were working on. Here's where we went to. They're so much fun. And I'll tell you, the first one you make, you're going to go, oh, it looks okay. Or it might look amazing. And then the second one will look better. The third one will look better. So don't be afraid to try a couple of these. Find out what works best. And honestly, it's just about having fun. And this was a wonderful project to work on. The kids had so much fun. We let them make wands and some other stuff using the same process. Well, I just want to take a moment and say thank you so much for watching. Down in the bottom right, don't forget to subscribe. We would love to have you come back. We do a lot of crafts here. And we do share a lot of adventures, so be sure to do that. And the other thing we do is I am the owner of JessicaLynnOriginal.com. And with our website, I do stamps, I do all kinds of other stuff, so be sure to go and visit our website. And then I would love to have you subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to just subscribe. It just reminds you whenever we have a new video, and it helps other people who like this kind of stuff get notified if there were videos that they might want to watch. So thank you again, and I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.